Hi! Thanks for joining me. I've been meaning to do this video for so long, it's ridiculous. I'm a big fan of home learning and home education alongside school education, and I don't think that as parents we should just rely on school to give our kids everything that they need. I think it's really easy to sort of sit back and think, oh great, we can just do all the fun stuff at home, and it's the teacher's job to make sure that kids are ready to go out into the world armed with everything they need. But actually, as parents, it's such an important role, because nobody's going to know our kids better than we are. No teacher who is teaching 30 kids at the same time, or 10, 20, 30 kids at the same time, is ever going to get to know our children in the same way that we do. And so therefore, as parents, what we can do by helping unlock some of our children's full potential, and also communicate with the school and with the teachers, it can only be a really good thing, I think. Because we're helping our kids. Audio learning is one of the main ways that children can learn. So some children really respond to hearing something. You can explain to them that 5 plus 5 is 10. And for them, because they are an audio learner, they'll hear that and that computes and they can understand it. And that's helped them to learn. Then another child might learn visually. So if you tell the child that is a visual learner that 5 plus 5 is 10, that's not going to have the same effect on that child. They're not going to completely understand it maybe, or certainly not retain that bit of information in the same way, because they would actually learn better if you were to write it down and write 5 plus 5 is 10, or if you were to draw 5 dots plus another 5 dots and then 10 dots at the end. So the visual learner will see something and understand it, register it and compute it. And then the third type of learner is a kinesthetic learner. So a learner that, one of my boys, Rocco, my eldest, is very much kinesthetic. He will, if you give him 5 blocks and another 5 blocks, and then you give him the 10 blocks, he can work that out. He needs to touch and feel things. I'm trying to think of ways to explain it, but I'm not even qualified to explain it. I don't even know what I'm doing sharing this with you. But I guess it's just stuff that I've learned, and it's made such a difference to my parenting with the boys. So for instance, for the kinesthetic learner, things like the cues and air blocks, I don't know if you remember these from school. We used to have loads of these. You can put these blocks together, so there's 10 of these, but I could put them in piles of 2 and he can put them together, and it just clicks. As soon as you give him something like this, it just clicks. You can see how teachers could brand a child stupid, or brand a child as not listening. They're the kid that could so easily get told off and sit in detention. I have found it such an amazing journey working out how my kids learn. Diggory's the polar opposite to Rocco, in that with Diggory, you can just explain something and it's there. It's the same with learning lines for his speech and drama exams. He does his speech and drama exams. He can learn his lines overnight. He's a visual learner and an audio learner, I would say. But it makes sense. Once you try and understand and unlock how your child learns, you can teach them so much more. And it's worth knowing all this kind of stuff, because you can check that your teacher is aware of how your child learns. You know, if your child happens to have a teacher that teaches by rote, or teaches by, you know, dictation, the old-fashioned style of teaching just doesn't work for, I don't know, I was going to make up a percentage then, I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, a lot of children just wouldn't learn like that. And you can see how they would be the children that get stuck at the back of the class, that don't get on well. And it's not actually anything to do with them not being clever or not listening. And what else has been amazing for me? Things like this as well. This was something I bought online. It's actually a wristband, and I got one of these for each of the times tables. This has got my 6 times tables on. Another thing that I did with the boys, which was massively helpful with their reading and their kind of letter and word recognition, was I got a load of, I actually made them myself, and laminated them, just labels for cupboard doors, which would spell cupboard, which is actually quite a tricky one because it's cupboard, obviously. But it was a daily reminder. They would go to the cupboard to get a mug out, and they would see the spelling of cupboard, same as the table. I had them on absolutely everything. We used loads of these as well, quite fun books. You can get loads of these, and they're not really expensive. They all have like pull-out posters and gold stars on each page for awards. And I think all 3 boys went through different phases where they really enjoyed doing those, especially, I think when kids start school, they're like sponges, kind of age 5, 6. You can't give them enough information, and for me that is the most magical stage ever in a kid's kind of growth and development, because they go from not being able to read, write, spell, recognise words, and in those first 2 years at school, it's incredible what they learn. It is amazing, and I guess one of the biggest things has to be reading daily with them. And I don't think it matters so much whether they're doing the reading or whether they're just talking about pictures in a book, or whether you're reading to them. I've always read, I would say nearly every single night of all my kids' lives, I've read to them, not necessarily a whole book every night, because the big ones are now on kind of chapter books, and Rocco has a Kindle. But they learn so much from reading. You're learning and you're constantly going over spellings and grammar, sentences, punctuation. It's all in there, and it all goes in subconsciously if they're reading a book they enjoy. And things like this book, 10 Play Hide and Seek, you know, you're counting your way through that as well. It's 1 animal, 2 animals, and it counts on every single page. So you're not just reading and doing English, you've got all the maths in there as well. And this book is a sort of phonics book, which is really good fun. The boys have always enjoyed this. You spin it round and you're spelling different words, all with different letters. Flashcards, we've had loads of fun. I think I'm the one who needs to go back to school. Loads of fun with flashcards from really, really early ages. Katie's little Ivy came round, she's 2, and you know, we were getting out like these flashcards, which are all, you know, we were playing with these. Peach, and obviously she's not going to be breaking the words down and things like that, but she's definitely at 2 years old recognising what things are. So she's obviously, you know, looking at the writing and associating it with the picture, nest and eggs. And I think it's brilliant, and I think all these things do help, and you can say, well, that's over enthusiastic parenting. And I don't think it is. I think it's fun. I'd rather have something to do with my kids. I love seeing them develop, and yeah, I really enjoy it. Orchard toys, massive favourite of mine. They do really, really lovely stuff. And we actually used to play a game with this because it's just got the word on the back. So as the boys were learning to read, I'd get them to say it, and then we'd turn it over and see if they'd got it right by the picture. Loads and loads and loads of these kind of things where we do adding, multiplying, division, subtraction, but the boys can actually feel them, put them together. And as they're getting older, obviously things like Monopoly, where it's counting money, make the kids one of the bankers, contraband or smuggle it's called as well, electricity sets, and it doesn't always have to be expensive and new. I get so much stuff on Gumtree, eBay. You can get secondhand stuff, and charity shops are brilliant, especially for board games. This is one of my absolute favourites. This is the last thing I'll harp on about. But we use insect lore loads, and this is a kind of science thing. Incredible way of showing the kids firsthand the whole process of metamorphosis. Because this is a butterfly farm, and you order online these caterpillars, and they turn up and they're like tiny eggs, and they come with the food ready-made and ready to go. And you watch these caterpillars grow and grow and grow. You get about 5 in the pot. They grow and grow and grow. They get hairy and big, and the kids love that, absolutely love it. And then, can you believe it, you watch them build the cocoon around themselves and crystallise, and it is incredible. I love it. I never ever get bored of it. And then you watch the butterflies emerge. It's the best thing ever. We absolutely love it. If there's anything else that you've used that's been a really good tool for helping your kids learn, or is there anything that perhaps, you know, has really unlocked your child's learning potential? Like sometimes finding out that they have something like dyslexia or ADHD or something like that, finding out that there is an issue there that needs to be helped and needs to be kind of worked with, can be the key to unlocking their learning potential. Because I think sometimes things like that can be so easily written off as a child not concentrating, or not trying hard enough, or just not focusing, or whatever it is. And actually that child could be struggling for a really legitimate reason. And we as parents are the best people to find that out. Anyway, leave us a comment below, because we would love to know what's helped you, what have you used, how's your kids getting on, how do they learn, and do you struggle with it, or do you enjoy it? Please subscribe to Hey Mummy. Get over and check us out on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. We're all over it, and we'd love to hear some more from you. Share the love and share this video with your friends if you think it could help. Thanks for watching. Bye.